What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the host of Pulse Radio. And listen, I have to talk about the history that just went down on today. It is December the 2nd, 2021. And none of us knew that today, on a pretty off NBA night, you never thought that you would see history on tonight. But see, this is the type of history that has to be documented. Because a lot of folks, they say, hey, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, but where's the footage of it? Did it really happen? Well, we're going to document it right now today because, ladies and gentlemen, have something for you. We have the worst loss in NBA history by a whopping 73 points. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Congratulations to them because y'all made history. What the world? What in the world was going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder in this game that I'm pretty sure no one outside of the confines of Memphis really watched? And I have League Pass. I would have wanted to watch this game, but we know that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and prayers up to him, I hope he's doing well. He got hit a lot in his last game. They have him in concussion protocol, so he did not play on this game. And of course, Ja Morant on last week got injured when the Grizzlies were playing the Atlanta Hawks. He had a very scary non-contact injury that we were praying wasn't anything serious, like a torn ACL or a muscle tear in his leg, but it turned out to be an ankle sprain. So I would have loved to have seen Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus Ja Morant, but I'm like, man, this ain't going to really be a game. This is not going to be anything interesting to watch. It's probably going to be a very low-scoring game. It's probably going to be close, but I'll just catch the highlights afterwards. I'll watch the condensed game on League Pass, whatever. But listen, I'm watching the Saints versus the Cowboys. I'm watching like the Bulls versus the Knicks on NBA TV. And I happen to look because I want to see if Chris Paul's playing with the Suns because, they have the big matchup that's now going to be on national TV against, the Warriors, the Suns. So I'm like, man, let me see if Chris Paul's playing, right? So I look and I'm like, wait a minute. Does this say 79 to 152? And I'm like, oh man, I'm sleepy. It's time to go to sleep. Had a long week, been working. But is this really true? And yes, it was. Let's just go through the game so y'all can know what was going on, man. So out the gate in the first quarter, Oklahoma City wasn't hitting on nothing. They were outscored in the first quarter 16-31. And then in the second quarter, if you want to be honest, that's when the Grizzlies started taking off. They beat them down. The Grizzlies beat the Thunder down 20-41. And it was just terrible. Then they come back. You think, all right, man, listen, we're not going to go out like this. We're going to cut the lead down, get it within single digits. The Thunder, led by Lou Dort, they're going to put it together, make it happen. That did not happen. They scored 26 points. They scored a little bit more than they did the first two quarters. But once again, Memphis put 41 on their head in the third quarter. So literally, they scored 82 points within two quarters. Help them, Jesus. Where's the defense? Do they even know how to spell defense? Well, we playing 2K and the controller stopped working. Have you ever had the moments where you stop playing to go get a snack, get something to eat, or use the restroom, and you thought you paused it, but you didn't, and then you keep getting 5-second violations, and then the other team gets the ball, you come back, you down by 100, and it's the fourth quarter? Like, did that happen tonight with the Grizzlies? Like, were the Grizzlies playing the Thunder on rookie mode? Because these are questions we need to know. In the fourth quarter, I started sort of checking out the game at the end. It was a point in time where it was like halfway into the fourth quarter. They only had 5 points up to that moment. They ended up scoring 17 points in the quarter, but they gave up 39 points. Do you realize that the point total from the first quarter to the fourth quarter steadily went up, and they almost dropped 41 again for 3 straight quarters? The Memphis Grizzlies bench outscored the Oklahoma City Thunder as a team 93-75. Yes, you heard me right. You had 6 players in double figures on the bench, and you had 3 guys from the starting lineup that had double figures. You had Jones at 10, Jaren Jackson at 27, Brooks had 11. Like, what in the world? While I'm looking at the blocks, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 2 blocks. Tillman had 2 blocks. You had Clark that had 2 blocks. Conchar had 3 steals. Like, you had Brooks and Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Tyus Jones. They all had 2 steals. Dude, the Thunder, I was trying to defend the Thunder at a certain point. I'm like, listen, the Thunder beat the Lakers twice. They played a couple teams tough. They're not the worst team in the NBA, although this score begs to differ. But at the same time, the Rockets are a way worse team, and the Pistons are a way worse team. The Thunder going to mess around and not even get close to getting the first pick unless they get a pick swap or something with a team that's even worse. Maybe they have one with the Rockets, and they'll get like the number 1 pick this next year. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a star, and he was playing for the Clippers well. He came with the Thunder. Chris Paul got him to the playoffs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a baller. Lou Dort is a pretty good defensive guard. I didn't personally think that the Thunder were a terrible team. But the way they played tonight, you lose 1 player and you lose by the largest margin in NBA history, that's a problem. But is it really a problem? Because the Thunder, they're not trying to do this to win. The Thunder aren't trying to make the playoffs. They're trying just to get by and rebuild their team. The Thunder have had so many all-time great players that have walked through that door. From the players that they drafted, from Kevin Durant to James Harden to Russell Westbrook. You have your great role players that went on to be successful in other places. Victor Oladipo had a great run. You have Serge Ibaka. That was a big part of the Raptors championship win in 2019. Now he's with the Clippers. Then you have some great acquisitions that came on the team. You had Paul George that came on the team and he forced his way out with the trade. You had Carmelo Anthony. You had Chris Paul that led you to the playoffs in the bubble. You had so many great players that have come through, Hall of Fame top players, like 4 of the top 75 players in NBA history that have come through your organization, and we're here at this point. It is sad. It honestly is. But I don't know where you go from here. Like, does this turn around the season for the Thunder? Do they now have a sense of urgency where they try to play better and make the playoffs? Do they just say, listen, this is a symptom of the problem. We're just trying to play for 2026. We're not going to be contenders right now. We're not going to be contenders for the next few years, but we're trying to recreate the magic that we had when we had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, because they played that all the way wrong when they didn't re-sign James Harden. They had an amazing team. They could have had a homegrown dynasty just like the Warriors, because they had some amazing draft picks and made some amazing selection of players. But I think they're just trying to stand pat until they get some good players, some good ballers, and try to become a Western Conference superpower in the next generation. But this is embarrassing. I don't know, as an ownership, as a team, where you go from here. Do you go home and cry? I was wondering if there's going to be a fight on the court. Are we going to have another Isaiah Stewart incident? Because it's like, bro, if you beat me that bad, we're going to have to fight. All right, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to get thrown out the game. I'm going to have to do something to be like, nah, bro. Like, y'all are just not going to run up and score on me like this. Because if I was in 2K, I'm not going to hold you. I would have quit the game. Like, your opponent has left the game. Like, bro, you can get your coins, your points, all of that, your rep. Listen, I'm leaving the game because you're not going to beat me that bad. Like, the sliders turned up. Because this gave me all the traumatizing memories of playing 2K on Xbox Live. Man, it gave me a lot of memories, all right? So listen, the whole Oklahoma City Thunder need y'all to never do that again. Y'all are a part of NBA history for a very bad reason,